What's up, guys? Once again, it is mp4podcast.com, bringing you guys some of the most interesting video game news that you guys really do need to know about. Microsoft is now going to be doing something really interesting, which I thought they would never do in my lifetime. That is making the apps on your Xbox 360 and Xbox One free to use if you have a silver account. Before, you needed Xbox Gold membership or Xbox Live to use Netflix, Hulu, all these other applications. I always thought this was wrong, even when I had Xbox Gold way back, I don't know, 2007 or 2008. Sometimes at certain years I would have it, and certain years I didn't have it. And, you know, one of the reasons I decided to cancel it at a certain point because I got sick of Call of Duty, and it was just, you know, playing the same games over and over again. And then sometimes you miss playing those games, and then I would get gold again. And, you know, it felt, once you have that break for a little while, the games do feel refreshing, and they have a little bit of a newest feel. I know that's not really a word, but you know what I mean. When you give something a break and go back to it, you feel that fun again. Now, Microsoft right now, I mean, the Xbox One, it's not selling the way it should be. And there's a lot of reasons because of this. When the Xbox One was initially announced, we all know the story. It was a disaster. They had the DRM issue, and that was a complete failure. You're talking about buying a disc that would have DRM on it, which your Xbox would have to check in every 24 hours. And if your Xbox wasn't able to check in for within 24 hours, then your Xbox would become a DVD/Blu-ray player. I mean, I don't understand the thinking behind this at all. It's absolutely 100% absurd. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to say there are some good things to DRM. However, there are some good things to having, you know, downloadable content that you buy. Let's say you want to buy Battlefield or Titanfall or any of these other games. You know, it's nice to be able to buy a digital version, and you know, you don't have to keep on looking for the disc. If you want to swap between this game or that game, you can do that. And then, you know, some people want that feature. So some people, of course, they're going to put DRM on those versions and so on. I mean, you can't let your friend, if you buy a digital download of Titanfall, you can't loan that out to somebody. I heard they may be working something out like that. Again, I know there is something like this already on Steam, where what you have to do is go over to your friend's house, log on to their computer with your Steam account, and then Steam will let you share your games with that person. However, if let's say that person is playing Batman Arkham City and you want to play it, they'll get a warning where they have to stop playing that game, because you do own the digital version, the license to use that version, and they'll have to stop playing it. And once you're done playing it, then they can continue their game. Now, I do understand that some people do want DRM, you know, for their disc versions, and the reason behind that was, you know, I don't have to download like all these gigabytes, you know, Titanfall or Battlefield. These games are anywhere from 20 to 30 or even 40 to 50 gigs and so on. That people don't want to download all that stuff. They want a disc where, you know, the data is there. And they want DRM for the Xbox One because they want to install the game from the disc and then take the disc out. I understand that, and I think Microsoft kind of didn't make a blunder on this. You know, I think what Microsoft should have done, to be honest with you, they should have got rid of the 24-hour check-in. However, there should have been two versions of each game. Let's say Titanfall, where you could get the one with the DRM where it's tied to your console, or you could buy the one that doesn't have the DRM, that is not tied to your console. So the people who want to install from the disc, install all their games, and then when they want to swap, change to a different game, they don't have to go and look for the disc. Okay, maybe like they would, maybe you just go up to the guy at GameStop and says, I want the DRM free version, and he would pull out the DRM free version for you, or he would give you the DRM version. It would be your choice and so on, which one you wanted to go with. But overall, I think it's better not to have the DRM, because if the DRM on the disc did take off, who knows that they would start to slow down the DRM free version. Don't get me wrong, even the DRM free version does have DRM on it, so you can't like burn copies and stuff like that. But you understand what I'm saying. So Microsoft has been going through a bunch of problems with the Xbox One. I mean, at first they said you had to have the Kinect plugged in all the time or the system wouldn't work. And then they came back and says, okay, you don't need to have it hooked up if you don't want it, but you have to buy the Xbox One with the Kinect. It is part of the console, blah, blah, blah. We consider it part of Xbox One. They were saying they were never going to go back on that. They say, oh, okay, you don't have to use it. You don't have to use the Kinect. All this other mumbo jumbo. And it just sounded silly what they were talking about. And then, of course, we find out now that there is going to be an Xbox One without a Kinect for $399. Now, is this going to fix Microsoft's problems with the Xbox One? I don't know. Time will tell. There is a lot of these videos on YouTube and on the internet about the PlayStation 4 being, a more powerful, capable system. I don't want to say it's a lot more powerful. The PlayStation 4 is not a generation ahead of the Xbox One. Both of these two consoles are within the same generation, but the PS4 does have, a little bit more horsepower underneath the hood. That's a fact. I mean, if you go back to the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, the Genesis had a faster CPU in there, so sports games ran faster. So I remember playing one of the NBA Live games and the hockey game, NHL, whatever. When you have five sprites on the screen, the Genesis was clearly doing a better job with less slowdown. Or the Genesis, I don't even think had any slowdown. Where the Super NES one, you would have a little bit of slowdown here and there. But then again, the Super Nintendo had much better colors and better sound and so on. So, is the PS4 always going to be the better console with every game? I don't know. Most likely it probably will be. So what do I think Microsoft should do to entice people to still go with the Xbox One over the PS4? I probably, say, hey, here's Rise, Son of Rome, and Forza. They don't even have to put disc in there. Just give you a digital download and you get two good games. Some people say Rise is good, some people say it's not, whatever. But most people will probably agree that Forza is a good racing simulator. With the PlayStation 4, the deal over there with the PlayStation 4 is, yes, you do have to pay to play online if you don't have PSN. However, there are really good free-to-play games on the PS4. Blacklight Retribution, Warframe, those are two really good games. And there's other games coming out for the PS4 where you don't have to spend any money and you get to play online. Now, of course, if you want to play your Call of Duties, you want to play your Battlefields, Titanfall 2 will be on PlayStation as well. You will have to have PSN Plus. Xbox Live, I mean, they give you some free games, which once you download them, they are permanently in your account. So if you cancel Xbox Live or Xbox Gold, you still get to play those games. With PSN, it's more of a rental service. So there's a trade-off. I like both consoles. I think, when it really comes down to, go to the store and see which controller you like in your hand. If you like the PlayStation controller a lot more than the Xbox one, or maybe just a little bit more, go with the PlayStation 4 or vice versa. Go with the Xbox One. There is one other tip that I do want to recommend to people, that if you go to the store, right, it's probably good to go with a friend or, your brother or your sister or something like that. Because I know at Best Buy they have those wires, it is like, they're kind of like springy, you know what I mean? Like if you let go of the controller, it'll pull back into the kiosk. Have your friend hold that wire so you're not playing these games with the wire pulling the controller back, because that does give a false sense of lightness to the controller, because that's not how you're really going to that's not how the controller is really going to feel in your hands. So this, somebody can just hold it so there's a little bit of slack on that wire, so it really feels like you're just holding it freely. Then you'll probably have a really good sense of which console is best for you. Now I'll say this before I do end this video: both consoles do have exclusives. All right, a lot of people will say, well, I like Sony exclusives, I like whatever Microsoft's going to give me. You have to weigh that out to a certain degree. For me, I like Gears of War. I really like Gears of War, but I'm not a Halo fan. Okay, so there's one IP over there. There's IPs over on PlayStation I love. I love MotorStorm to death. So you have to weigh out who is going to have the more exclusives that you may want to play, or maybe you're just a huge Halo fan or Uncharted fan, and that's the game you really want to play more than anything of that. So just don't look at it, well, they have all these exclusives and this company has all these other exclusives. Look at the titles and see which ones you really want to play the most, and hopefully you'll make the right decision. And again, once again, if you do make the wrong decision, you can always buy two consoles. Just saying. But overall, I think most people will be fine with even one console. Once again, guys, this has been mp4podcast.com signing out, and I hope you guys have yourself an awesome day.